I want to tell you a story, and it kicks off with a title that's, well, it's pretty hard to ignore. Nobody is coming to save you. It sounds harsh, I know, so let's unpack the story behind that statement.
It all starts with this feeling, this quiet admission that for a very long time, I was just waiting, stuck in a holding pattern.
But what was I waiting for? What are we waiting for, really? For the perfect opportunity to just fall out of the sky? For that one phone call that changes everything? Or maybe just for someone, anyone, to notice and offer a hand?
And you know what the price of all that waiting was? Our most valuable asset, time. An entire decade just vanished. Poof. 10 years. Gone.
So after all that time, what was there to show for it? The tough pill to swallow was absolutely nothing. Still in the exact same spot, telling myself the exact same stories about why things hadn't changed. So this brings us to our first idea, the waiting game. This is all about how we tell ourselves we're being patient when really, deep down, it's just a clever disguise for fear. Fear of failing, or maybe even fear of actually succeeding and having to own it. But you can't stay stuck like that forever, right? Eventually something has to give, and that leads to a quiet breaking point. The night the waiting finally, mercifully, came to an end.
And look, this big moment of clarity, it wasn't some huge dramatic movie scene. It was the opposite. It was late at night, you're alone, just scrolling through your phone, and you see it. Other people moving on, getting new jobs, new cars, building new lives. And that contrast just causes something inside you to quietly snap. And in that quiet moment, a really tough but powerful truth hits you. It's this. The world doesn't rescue adults. It just doesn't. But you know what it does do? It responds to action.
So that realization, it forces you to ask the question, the one that changes absolutely everything. This is the moment you shift from blaming the world to taking responsibility.
And man, this is a huge shift in thinking. The old way is asking, why isn't anyone helping me? See how passive that is? You're looking for a hero. But the new question, what am I going to do about this? That's where the power is. That puts you right back in the driver's seat.
But just asking the question isn't enough, right? That's just the start. The next part is the messy part. It's about building while afraid. Because, spoiler alert, you don't magically get confident overnight. You just have to start moving anyway. So what does that actually look like? Well, here are the steps. First, I stopped waiting to feel motivated. You know that feeling never comes when you need it. Second, I stopped waiting to feel confident. Also a total myth. And the most important one, step 3, I just started moving, even though I was still terrified. And this whole thing, it wasn't for show. It wasn't for likes. It wasn't for applause. It was work being done in the dark, when nobody was watching. Just building, quietly. And you know what the craziest part is? The reward for all that quiet work, it wasn't what you'd expect. It was freedom. And that's our next big idea. Ownership is freedom. It's about redefining where true power and respect really comes from. So let's nail this down. What is ownership? It's simple, but it's not easy. It's that moment you take 100% full-on responsibility for everything. Your screw-ups, your future, your life. The whole shebang. And when you do that, when you truly own it all, you become dangerous. Now hold on, not dangerous to other people. You become dangerous to your old limits, to that little voice in your head that says, you can't. Okay, so this brings us to the final part, and this is a message directly for you, for anyone out there who feels like they've been left behind or overlooked or forgotten. Your life is in your hands. Listen to me on this. You don't need permission to start. Not from anyone. The only green light you need is your own. And once you're moving, you don't need validation to keep going. You don't need a cheering section. The work itself, the progress, that becomes the reward. And here's the big one. You don't need rescue to win. You have to be your own cavalry, your own hero. Why is all this so important? Because it all comes back to that first harsh truth, the one that's actually incredibly freeing. And it's this: nobody is coming. And that's not supposed to be a downer, honestly. It's the most empowering thing you can ever realize. Because if nobody's coming, it means all the excuses are gone. It means your life is finally, truly yours. So I'll leave you with this one question. Nobody is coming. What will you build?